My name is Mai Takahashi. May 18th policies. I came across an article titled 81% of Japanese feel anxious about President Trump's second term as president. Option poll, and it piqued my interest. The article was about a Kobe News poll conducted about U.S. President Donald Trump, who has just begun his second non-consecutive term, and found that about 81% of Japanese people feel more anxious than hopeful. The result of the option poll on international situation conducted from March to April were as follows. The article states that a quote news poll on U.S. President Donald Trump, who has just begun his non-consecutive second term in office, found that approximately 81% of Japanese people feel more anxious than hopeful. The results of option poll on international affairs conducted from March to April showed that the reasons for their anxiety were 42% pointing to the threat tariffs posed to free trade, and 41% pointing to President Trump's unprecedented behavior. On the other hand, of the 17% who answered that they have greater expectations than fears, 57% said that President Trump is excelling leadership, and 33% praised his efforts to counter China's growing hegemony. In addition, about 53% said that China was responsible for the worsening U.S.-China conflict, and 44% said that the U.S. caused the tensions. They were also asked whether Japan should prioritize its relationship with the United States or China, with 47% of respondents saying it should prioritize the United States, and 48% saying it should maintain equal relations with both countries. Just 1% said China about be politicized. The fact that the number of people who choose the United States was equal to the number of people who choose neither country suggests that society's views are changing. カズト・スズキ are Professor of International Policies at the University of Tokyo's Grade School of Public Policy. The poll was conducted by mail from March 4th. Tokyo's Grade School of Public Policy. The poll was conducted by mail from March 4th, targeting 3,000 people aged 18 and over in 250 legations across the country. 1,867 valid responses were received by the April 14th deadline called News. I was interested in President Trump's option polls in Japan during the presidential election, and this caught my eye. President Trump returned to the presidency after winning an election campaign that was like something out of a movie, with a change of opponent and a shooting incident. He was an extreme president who sadly launched crisis militias at Syria in his first term, and I wanted that he would do in his second term. So I looked into it and found that he was planning to impose high tariffs on trading partners. This caused a temporary panic in the world economy, leading to the Trump shock. Political advisor Elon Musk and other left the president, and many capacitors who were on Trump's side during the election campaign also left. In Japan, former Prime Minister Abe, who was on good terms with President Trump, is no longer with us. Prime Minister Ishida, who is said to have inherited its will, is also responding, but we were not seeing any good results. The long-standing slump in Japanese economy and tensions with neighboring countries have been cause for concern within Japan, and I believe these concerns are reflected in the result of this survey. I don't know the exact questions in survey, but I can guess that there are 3 options. This is because the question asked whether one supported America or China, and the answers were either support for America, support for China, or neither. Japanese people tend to choose a middle group if it is not a yes or no question. So many people choose both if it was America, China, or either. It is easy to imagine that many people would choose America if it was America or China, which decide questions about the question. I think it is necessary to need and interpret such surveys and questions with the understanding that they can easily reflect the intention of the questioner and lead to answers. I also suspect that the percentage of people who feel uneasy would not change if the subject of the survey was not President Trump, but, for example, President Xi Jinping or President Putin, which shows that the influence of the leaders of great powers who have a great influence on the world situation is a threat to other countries. However, I also think that it is no mistake that President Trump's statements and various information from the White House are making people feel uneasy and nervous. For example, even I thought that the image of the Pope was a bit excessive. The presidential election may be entertainment, but I have come to strongly believe that policy is not entertainment. Japanese position in the current world situation is unstable, and we are highly dependent on the United States for security, and we need to deal with China as it is our largest trading partner. However, I believe that we need to size through survey for our own country with an eye to the future, and I hope that we will have a strong Japanese leader who can make this happen. I hope that in the future, Japanese will be a country where people can be glad to have been born. Beef from Back to the Future was modeled after President Trump. May 22, 2025. My Takashi. Thank you for listening.